Hey everybody, this is Doug with Artfully Rogue, and I'm sure this might be a little bit echoey in here. I am in my new workshop and it is still being worked on. And the big door here, I'll show you here in just a minute, is wide open and the wind is blowing through. And the weather has been a little bit chilly, which is why I brought this out. Whether some of you know or not, I actually live in a converted school bus. This year has been a little bit chilly, and so I wanted to make a wood stove, but time just got away from me and I didn't have a chance. So I picked up a wood stove on Amazon and we're gonna see how well it works. I just got it today and I want to see, I don't know, how good it works. I've been spending a lot of my time for the past year in Spain and in the US. 2 months or so in Spain, 2 months or so here. And when I came back from Spain this time, I was in the, what do you say? I guess it was getting to the colder months, so getting in the bus got cold. And although I do have a like a split unit, a mini split, I think is what they call it. I have that in the bus and it works really well, but it doesn't really get the back side of the bus, which is where the bed is. And so, yeah, I want to get a little wood stove. And since I don't have time to make it, we bought it. And I know I'm repeating myself, I apologize. In my mind, I'm kind of hearing the work happening over at the other little workshop. We're still building water features. We have a double car garage that's on the property that I built here. And that's where we're doing all of our work right now. And once I get this little spot built, we'll start moving everything over here. Really, I've just been waiting on permits. And permits have taken a long time, considering the fact that I'm out in rural property, so it really shouldn't have been a problem. All right, well, here's our little wood stove. It feels solid, maybe because it's got tons of stuff in it, but it comes with a pair of gloves, which, because it's a little cold, I'm gonna put those on right now. It's one of those gloves that have like the short fingers. Sometimes you get gloves that have longer fingers, but yeah, these are definitely little short gloves. All right, looks like we have an exhaust pipe, another exhaust pipe, a third exhaust pipe. Looks to be like a spark arrestor, which is good. Something's caught here. Let's see what this is. Okay, this would be the connection maybe to the wood stove. Maybe a little poker for the wood, and another. So we got four. That's all that I see inside. Looks like these kind of fold down. Put my eyes on to see a little bit better because I can see something else down there. I see rope, but how do you access the rope? All right, well, these legs pop into place, so that's a good thing, gives you a little bit more height. All right, now boom. There's a little tray that pulls out. I'm like, all right, so it looks like you've got stuff for a tent. There's a few like stakes, looks like tent stakes here. They did mention that you can use this for camping. You got some rope. I can't imagine that you'd have to tie down your wood stove. If you've got something blowing away that's on fire, that would not be cool. You got a couple little carabiners, a little Allen key, and looks like a little door handle. Oh, here we go. All right, we're taking these gloves back off. I can't operate with gloves. All right, so here we go. This goes here, and this will allow you to slide your vent back and forth. This is something that goes here, up, and another carabiner. Okay, so maybe you can take this off, and maybe the fire, you can put a little pot on that. Let's see. Yeah, it's like a little lid. Okay, maybe you can warm something up. We'll try that in the bus and see how it works. Again, I really haven't looked at the directions yet. I'm just opening things up. Foldable outdoor wood stove instruction manual. And apparently this is definitely designed for a tent, because the smokestack goes up what looks to be probably about 4 or 5 feet. I'm going to have to do some modifications because I need to go outside the bus. So I might have to find something here on the property that will allow me to go out at an angle and then come up again. Oh, I see. Hang on just a second. So they have actually got, I don't know if you can see this. Let me move some of this over here. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I'll take a better picture of it when I get out of the shop. The rope is actually for your spark arrestor, I guess, to keep it upright. So inside your tent, or maybe this goes outside your tent, and you can hook on all 3 of these areas. This is your flue. That's what it is. There's your flue. All right, allow your smoke to get in. Yeah, you tie down your smokestack. So, all right, interesting. Okay, I'm gonna go set this up in the bus, and we're gonna give this a shot. We'll see if it warms us up. Where I want to place this wood stove is where my future bathroom will be. This particular window, when I bought the bus, was broken, so I put a piece of sheet steel over the inside, and then because I had a problem with leaking, I put a piece of stainless on the outside. Now, if you look closely, where I'm drilling, there is a black circle. Previously, I had lined up where the exhaust comes from the wood stove and about where it hits the window. So right now, I'm drilling holes through the mild steel and through the stainless, which is pretty much what I hit right there. The stainless is a little bit harder to drill through if you've never drilled through stainless, but I have to drill these pilot holes in order to use the punch that I have to make the holes bigger, that allow the exhaust to go through the windows and outside. You definitely want to vent this outside. You do not want toxic fumes in an enclosed area. That would not be good. Once I take this panel off, you'll be able to see the stainless on the other side. Now this is kind of siliconed in place, covers up the entire window, and like I said, I'm going to be putting the shower for the bus in this area, so it will probably stay closed. So now this is the punch that I'm using. It's a hydraulic punch that I actually picked up from Harbor Freight, and if you're looking for a punch, this is actually pretty good. I'll put a link to a video that we did earlier about this punch. Now what I'm doing is I'm turning the knurled knob that will tighten the die cutting tool so that it's nice and straight. You reverse the flow of the hydraulic, you pump it, and then what it does is it presses that die through the stainless or any steel that you're working on. This is a 16 gauge stainless, so you know it's probably hit its max of what it can do. But this is step one. Now I got to put the bigger hole in there, and because I'm working by myself, we're kind of hoping that it will stay. I just put the window down so I can reach through and tighten the bigger die into place. Now this is going to punch the size that I need specifically for the exhaust. All right, and there is the hole punched into the window sheet and the exhaust through those holes. Now I created this custom stand for the wood stove to sit on, so it was up high enough. You'll have to figure out what you're doing for your situation, but this is kind of what I wanted to do for mine. And when you look on the outside, you have the exhaust coming through. I wanted to keep the exhaust, in a vertical orientation. And again, these 90s that I'm using, I purchased off Amazon. I'll put a link to all of the things that I purchased on Amazon in this video in the description. And then the spark arrestor goes on. I want to make sure that this is all straight up and down. And then also want to make sure that the flue is open. Now, as I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, this is designed for a tent. So you can see the little hooks for the tent. And there we go. Now we are set up. Again, these are all parts and pieces from water features that were cutoffs. And so I just kind of made something basic. Let's go ahead and start this thing up. Now, before you start your fire in this wood stove, make sure you do this outside the first time, because you want to burn off any paint or any toxic fumes that are going to be produced by the heat. I've already done this outside, so this is probably the second or third fire that I've had in here. And I just started with some small shavings, and that will catch and start to get hot. One of the things I noticed when I did the very first burn outside is this vent didn't really seem to produce a lot of airflow. So I may end up doing something a little bit later. But as you can see, the fire gets kind of roaring in there. I wouldn't say roaring, it's meowing right now, but it's definitely warming the bus up. Okay, so there you go. The little Amazon wood stove does pretty good. I'm pretty pleased with it. And again, what I would mention is make sure you start your first fire outside to burn off any of the toxic paints or whatever. The first time I did it, it smoked like crazy. So you want to make sure you do that outside, not inside. But I could see this working for, small enclosed areas. I would probably add maybe a few more vent holes, because once you close the door, this vent doesn't really seem to draw the air properly. And even though you may have like a full line of wood inside of here, the fire tends to stay in the back where it can get drawn here. So I don't know, I'm gonna have to play with that a little bit more, but it definitely puts out heat. It definitely feels like a wood stove. And one of the things I noticed, that because I'm close to the wall here, it's definitely hot here. It lessens the further you go up, but on my panel here in the window, it was warm to the touch, but it was not hot. I will probably put like a stainless heat shield here so I don't get close to heating up this glass, but I can't ever see having like raging fires in here. It's just too small. It's just enough to take the edge off. And hey, if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so now, and I'll see you in the next video. But if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please. And if you like what you saw, give me a thumbs up.